Hi, folks. Here we are again.
The Ivan Files.
Yeah, we the Ivan Files, and we're going to talk today about something. We're going to talk about karma.
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 I gotta get my notes ready for this one.
Karma, and I
Comes the
have some.
pins, tit for tat. Comes the pins.
Oh, yeah, karma is a largely misunderstood concept, and it's a very, very old concept. Way back when the Hindus were doing stuff, and the Buddhists picked it up on the way. But the Hindus had kind of a more of an idea, like sometimes people think, if you are herding chickens, then you might come back as a chicken. You know, stuff like that.
That would suck.
If your karma's bad,
Yeah.
if your karma's bad. Otherwise, if it's good, you move up, right?
Yeah.
It's like a caste. Well, no, that's different. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
you-
Nope,
you-
that's different. I'm wrong.
Might come back
You
as
gotta
a
level up in
dinosaur,
this life.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the Buddhist, this is a very short capsulation, of course, but the Buddhist is more like karma is a way of looking at your life and straightening it out so that you can advance in the afterlife. That's very much connected to rebirth and reincarnation. Both of those are. I don't know what isn't. The Christian idea is that everybody's saved by grace, I guess. Paul.
Saved by the blood of Christ is what they say.
Yeah, it's mostly Paul has words about that in his letters and so on. But anyway, we're talking about karma, and let's ask the panel here what they think about this idea of karma, that if what you do has some kind of repercussion or compensation or something in an afterlife, or is something in an afterlife, a before life, affect what you do. For instance, just for the heck of it, I must have been a rich man when I was in a former life, because I ain't got no money now.
Spoken like a true scholar.
And so it's kind of that sort of thing. But I don't know what you guys think about that. It's like, I know it's a fresh concept for a lot of folks because of the rebirth connection in there, that you're gonna be reincarnated, and the how it is that you get reincarnated, or what you get reincarnated into, the kind of a being, might depend on your karma. If you're Buddhist, probably does. If you're a Hindu, maybe you know more about that than I do.
Serial killer equals mosquito.
Who?
Like that. Like that a
Could have
lot.
been a mosquito. Goodbye.
You
Restart.
gone. You gone.
Restart.
I
Yeah.
think there's kind of multiple karmas. I think karma in today's day, in your living days, I believe, just my belief, I believe that you can create karma for your path while you're here. Obviously, karma comes from, Hindu, and it has to do with rebirth and reincarnation. And what you did in this life will kind of determine what your next life may look like, and what you did in your previous life may have a part of why you're where you are today. But I think there's other karma uses in today's world, I've used that phrase probably improperly, but sometimes things can be done that can generate poor karma down the road, or an educational piece of karma for someone. You can do things early in your living years that creates a rougher go in your later years. So whether that's karma or not, I think we say that collectively sometimes. Karma's a bitch or whatever. Karma, you'll have to deal with that. You're building karma for yourself. I think so there's different karmas, in my opinion.
Karmic retribution.
Karmic retribution. Do bad things will happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or you can create something, start something in motion that later on will have an outcome for you that you will look at. Like, I've received bad karma. I am receiving some, and so I am acknowledging that and I'm receiving it. You know what I'm saying? When I see something that's happened, I say, okay, I'm going to fully receive that, because that is I've done, or I've created something to create this. And it's when you stand back, in my opinion, and say, I didn't do anything, not my fault, blah, 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 or everybody else is after me, that you don't receive that karma, that you don't get to grow. I'm growing like a mad sumbitch right
It makes me
now.
wonder, like, what is the scale and who's judging the scale? So, like, what,
Yeah.
like, if this is a belief that people hold, who has what divine power? Who, what,
Who
why?
decides said
Who-
karma?
Right, and who decides at the end of if, like, the cycle of rebirth is a thing, and, like, your karma decides whether you're reborn is better or worse in your next life.
It's built in.
But so what is the scale? Is it like 80 to 100, you're going to be a multi-bajillionaire in your next life and you're on your way to like samsara. Like
No.
you're on your way out. You're going to
Yeah.
be fully enlightened.
Or what-
Or like
I don't
yeah.
think it's just built in. It doesn't have degrees. You have an experience, psychological or spiritual experience that recognizes the karma and constructs itself accordingly. So, but who makes the deal? Well, the guy that put it all together in the first place made the deal.
Who put it together? Is it the many-handed God? Are we looking at Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism? What are we looking at? Who made it? Who is the creator of karma?
Hindu, according to you.
Well, the Hindu is the oldest, and I know the word didn't show up right away, but that's the oldest one as I understand it. Now,
Do you think people are receiving karma and not aware of it? Or is it something you receive?
Well, what better mechanism? What better mechanism do you know that would account for the differences in people? For instance, something comes to mind, and God was doing all this stuff, is that the Tower of Babel was built
Stop it.
by people with the same language. And according to the story, God didn't like that, so he made them all talk different languages. And so if there is a worker behind it, that would be him, or her, or it. And yeah, so, and karma karma is just something that's built in, like, it's almost like was it the first law of motion or the second law of motion? You know, if you push on something, it
Yeah.
pushes back. So, you know, if that's the built-in part of it, is that if you
Come.
do something, it you get pushed back. And that's the pushback then is the karma, is the karma part.
Can you change your karma?
Yes,
How?
well, you can,
Lay down.
you can write a letter to,
Dad, stay down.
you can write a letter to the guy who wrote this book and
Right?
say, hey, we wanna change our karma here.
Down.
No, you can change your karma, but what you have to do is, according to this, is,
Oh, look at that man. He looks like he knows what he's talking
He
about.
knows about
He
karma.
knows. You can't really see
Yeah.
that, but he knows about karma.
Yeah.
That man knows about karma. He's a yogi and a mystic.
yeah,
I'm gonna look this man up. I like the mysticism.
I'm a mystic.
I'm a mystic. Not really. I'm a.
I'm
You
a
could be.
mistake. Yeah, a mystic, yeah.
Oh my God, the play on words.
Hey,
That's funny, but you're not a mistake, Ivan.
what?
Continue.
I was a mistake. I'm the third child during Johnny Carson that you guys had.
Whoop! Surprise!
I am a mystic,
I know you're a mystic. You've talked about that many times.
yeah. I say,
Yeah.
I don't know, a mystic.
I think.
Tempted to be a Sufi sometimes, but, you know, that's got some rules connected with it.
It can be anything you set your mind to.
And old clothes,
Yeah.
you gotta wear old clothes.
You're a psychic too.
So if you want to change your
Well,
karma,
maybe.
if you were to have the belief that your next life, or that you have weird memories sometimes because you're in this life and you came from another life,
Yeah.
if you wanted to change your karma, wouldn't that just be kind of a good rule of thumb? If we put out into the universe that we wanted, you know, better.
Well, yeah, it's like with people. If you run into somebody that sometime in your past life you have done something to,
Hmm.
even psychologically, then that's the opportunity to change your karma.
See, I blamed a kid in class one time for a fart, and it was mine. So
my
that created bad karma for me.
And it's gotten worse ever since. Yeah.
But I've tried to repair that. I mean, I'm kind of joking, but not. You know, so there's things that I have done to people that are not good, and I think that's why I try very hard to do good all around me, is because I know I've hurt people, right? Intentionally, unintentionally,
Probably
doesn't matter.
repairing some of your karma.
Trying to repair that, and I've always believed that. That's
Yeah.
why you give. But
So if you believe in karma, do you believe in reincarnation?
I don't know that answer yet because I don't know that. I think it's possible. I think you'd be an idiot to not think anything is possible. I'm not a strict rule follower. That's why I don't fit into religion. I love all the religions. I think they're all beautiful, but I cannot stick to one because I don't. Those are human rules, not God rules. And so,
yeah.
you know, I think that reincarnation is completely possible, but I'm also of the thought process that I chose mom and dad. They didn't choose me.
Have you heard those stories? Either of you, any of you? Have you guys heard those stories of the children before the age of 5 who
Yes.
have memories of other lives
Ann Landers, remember I told you about that?
and then they forget?
Yes.
It goes away. But I'm also of the belief that energy is energy. People are made of energy. It has to
Period.
cycle or recycle somehow. And as more people come and go in this world, there's a vessel for energy that is waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is a weird topic for you.
This is a weird topic for me. I'm interested to know why you think that's the case.
Because I know, I have walked your path with you on the whole religion, not
Yeah.
religion, when you die, that's it, or is that really it? And as your girls are getting older, you're inclined to believe differently as you experience different things in your life. I mean, I've watched you spiritually grow. But your growth has been rewarding for me because it's not growing towards Christianity, towards this, towards that. It's growing like this and saying, possible, 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 possible.
Yeah.
So this for you is a different
I mean,
topic.
I feel like karma is ever present, right? And we can talk about it from like a religious standpoint, like it's a way of life. But I think ultimately what you see as you get older is that like people that go out and try to do good in the world for others eventually see it come back to them. There's like studies that are out there right now where if you present a percentage of your income towards charity, you statistically have a better chance of earning more money over the course of your lifetime. Which is
Receiving.
like a
I
way
didn't
of
know
kind
that.
of drilling it down to a very simple like mathematical equation in that sense. But I think it's just true in industry, in relationships, everywhere. I think that there has been a time in my history where I was very self-centered and like very self-ish. And I think stepping away from some of the practices has really shown a light to me that like it's really not about the more that you pour into people, the more you will get back.
Yes.
And I think that that concept, socially as a member of humanity on this planet, really goes a long way, and it speaks directly to karma in general, right? If you are living your life to the best of your ability and lifting others up, it's going to pour back into you. And I think that that is a sense of karma in itself.
It is.
So I really like the idea of karma because I think it takes some of the stuff that I haven't wanted to blindly follow in religion. The things that I do take from religion that I like is, treat others as you would like to be treated, right? Don't take advantage of your fellow man. Like those types of concepts I've really liked, and they all circle around the same idea of karma. So I think there is karma. Is there reincarnation? I hope so. I
Yeah.
mean, who knows? Whether there is or not, like what the thing that troubles me about reincarnation is I don't want it to be like a carrot on the stick for me to live a good life. Like I have to live a good life so I can be better in the next life. I don't feel like that's a fair North Star. I feel like if you are doing good, it should be with honest values, not for self-aggrandizing.
It's interesting in the reincarnation piece is very not well received in Christianity. Period.
No.
Not at all. And yet there is different groups of people that you bump into that will take snippets of what serves them possibly at that time
Right.
instead of being open to all, right? And the fact that you want to live a better life because you may be reincarnated, you don't know. You're right, is not the reason to live a good life. The reason to live a good life is because of those that are surrounding you. You don't know what their journey is. And by you feeding them, there was one thing, and it is, again, biblically written. However, it is also written by man 400 to 600 years after the death of Christ. Let's just talk about that, okay?
Right.
So anyway, there is something in the Bible that I do love that was written, and I love a lot of things in the Bible. I think it's wonderful
Man
book.
has wonderful things to say.
Man has wonderful
Yeah.
things to say. But to whom much is given, much is required. And Mark and I have tried to live by that, that because we have been given a lot. We've worked for it, but it isn't all our doing. It's the people that we've surrounded ourselves with that have allowed that to be a part of. They also have grown because they're a part of that. But to whom much is given, much is required. And if you pick that apart, it kind of speaks to karma a little bit.
It does.
You know, your karma that you're receiving is a requirement because of what you've gotten and what you're giving. Does that make, you know? And I've always loved that phrase. To whom much is
Really
given,
beautiful.
much is required. And it's very true. And if you are just receiving and you're not doing your requirements, is it possible that you will no longer receive?
Yeah.
Well, I'm almost like, I don't know, the more we talk about it, I've never really thought about it like this, but karma, because like the idea behind karma is that it is for that being to reach enlightenment. That is like the Hindu way. You're going through your cycles of reincarnation, building up karma so that someday you can reach samsara, which is their form of enlightenment, whatever. But it's very selfish if you think about it. It's not, and it is, because it's all about creating this karma for you, for this being, and then it's not, because like in order to have good karma, you kind of have to do things for other people. But it is self-serving. In the end, it is self-serving, because
Yeah.
and that's hard for me to like wrap my brain around. I
What
think.
if karma is more group oriented than we think, society oriented than we think,
Well, we all reach samsara at the same time.
right? But what if it's that?
I need a fast track.
You know,
I need
Yeah.
a fast track.
Well,
like let's use an example. Something as simple as you and mom living with us.
yeah.
Is that good karma for you? The answer better be freaking yes. But I mean, seriously, in today's world, is that good karma that
Yeah.
you are,
Uh-huh.
okay, living with one of your children and being loved and cared for?
Yeah.
But would that be good karma for you? Or is that good karma for me?
Probably good karma for you.
Yes.
That's what I would guess.
But you're receiving part of that.
Yeah.
Though you're in a state of elderly frustration, which none of us at this table can relate to yet,
Yeah.
right? Because, I mean, none of us can. But you're at a point where you're wondering about the F did I do to land in my daughter's house?
Uh-huh.
And I am going, what the F did I do to have him land in my house?
Yeah.
But yet I sit back and I say, could this be a piece of that? You know, where you and I are both, as well as these two people, as well as Mark, we're in this podcast talking about karma. We've talked about aliens. We've talked about religion. We've talked about, oh shit, what? I mean,
Or it's your
All
good
of it.
karma. What did you do in your life to land in such a good situation?
Yeah.
Rather than in an old folks' home where, I don't know, people are taking advantage of whatever the case may be.
a podcast, right? You're doing a podcast. Is that karma, or is that just a walk?
Well, it can be. It can be partly, like what ideas are you conveying, and what effects can they have? Well, they have on people that might be listening to this. Might be listening to it.
Are listening to it. They do. People
Yeah.
do chime in. But, you know, yeah.
And so, you know, that's whatever you do. Karma means action.
Past action.
Means doing is what karma means. Doing. It's not just a blind concept. It's a action word, karma, and that action word is whatever the karma is. Some of it you may have somebody might have put some on you, so to speak. I don't know how you do that, but then that gives you something you got to deal with, and if you put something on somebody else, then they've got to deal with that, and so do you. You have to deal on the change. However, the 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 Buddhist point of view, if you have something that you put on people, the repercussion is not up to you. The repercussion could happen in a past life, could happen in a future life.
And according to Vedanta thought, the most influential school of Hindu theology, did I say Vedanta right? I hope so. The effects of karma are controlled by God.
By who?
God.
What God though?
Yeah. Does he have
Isvara.
a manual?
Isvara.
So it's just a
Well,
God, or is
A
it?
God, the God. See, again, you have to agree, is there more than one God? And I think God is all things, different things.
Well,
I think every time we have a podcast and we talk about religion, God, it, the, he, she, all, is present because we're in a form of church. Speak about me in any place, and there is a church,
yeah. What did you say?
according to man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about
mean
that,
we're
Shelby?
a church?
We're in church right now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we all need to tithe.
I have a DD.
We all need a tithe.
I'll pass a basket,
We need to be better about. I need to be better at tithing.
and I can, tithe. We could just tithe to each other right here.
Oh, there we
Everybody
go.
give each other
There we
20
go.
bucks.
I like it. Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
tithed.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Tithed.
Tithe.
That's a weird word.
It is
Tithe.
tithing.
What?
But we
Tithe.
do tithe at charity auctions. We are in a business of allowing people to tithe. Really, if you think about it,
What?
we're allowing people to tithe, not necessarily to a church,
Oh,
but
tithe.
to something that is good.
Tithe, that's the 10%.
So we're actually pastors in a way.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah. I mean, there's
Hey, we can
definitely
go.
some. Yeah.
We could go all the way. You're a bookkeeper of the church.
Yeah.
I'm a bookkeeper of the church.
Are you the bookkeeper of the church? Very nice. You've just been elected. You're on the board.
I just think it's
Now
interesting.
we're gonna sing hymn number,
Hymn number 42. Yeah.
Joy to the
bringing
world.
in the sheep.
I will
Wow.
say real quick, it kind of spins off of this karma thing a little bit, but it's just, I could talk about this stuff forever. You guys know that. And I know you guys could too.
Yeah.
There's a guy that has always been super Christian. Every time I've talked to him, he's been about just Christianity. And he's been through some things in his life, and he is now this open-minded individual that believes he has a stronger faith today because he doesn't cancel out what everybody else thinks.
It's a guru.
And he's just a normal dude. But he used to say, if you and I'd have a conversation, I'd say, well, Shelby, unless you accept Jesus as your savior, you're not going to heaven, right? And you would say to me, but what if? I would probably not continue our conversation because I'm him, right? You
Right.
don't believe in what I'm saying. Now he says, that
Could be possible.
that is possible.
Which I feel like is a very new age way of thinking, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
talk about karma. Why is that guy in my space right now?
Why is that guy in your space?
Yeah.
It's just, it's information.
It's information. It's lovely. It's
It's
wonderful.
experience that you bump into that you have to deal with. It's an opinion that you have to deal with.
The thought of not being around all of you for some sort of an eternity is I have a circle of people that are close, and then I have other circles, but when you talk about your circle of people that is close, it's not always your family only, it's an extension of your family.
Right.
But
Can make a Venn diagram.
yeah, I believe your energy can create that for you.
Well, then it makes me think, like, if rebirth is real, which I was wrong, it's called moksha. Enlightenment is moksha.
Okay.
I must correct myself. But if it is real, are the same circles of people, like, do we keep finding these same people that we connect with life after life?
How long have you known her, do you think?
On paper,
On paper.
3 months.
3 months.
How long have you known her, do you think?
feels like more than 3 months.
Right, it does. That's my, that's,
Yeah.
you bump into that every now and then and you
Yeah.
go, whoa, that's
I was
freaking weird.
I was just like retreading some thoughts that I had like at the beginning of this year. Like, oh, I said I was gonna do that. Oh, I said I was gonna do that. But that was before Ellie.
Right.
So like to have those thoughts and not have Ellie to bounce it off of is weird because it's almost like you don't remember a time before that.
Yes.
As
Yeah.
clearly.
Just
Yeah.
like when you have children, you think you're just this couple, and then all of a sudden you have a kid, and you're like, shit, I can't remember a day without that kid.
I have to tell you that according to this guy, karma is very much bound in for birth and rebirth.
I have to read that book.
Goes together because all of the compensation, if you will, or the changing of the karma, the maybe rebalancing the scale somehow, doesn't get done in a lifetime. A lot of it gets done in
Many
future lives.
lifetimes,
Yeah, many masters there that are there. Now you're right. Christians don't generally believe that, but then they're taught something different. So, but not all of them are.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them are by a long shot. So,
Yeah, and I think we're constantly trying to figure it out. I keep going back to a podcast I listened to probably like 3 weeks ago, and stuff normally doesn't stick with me that long unless it really resonates with me. And it was this guy that was talking about a book, and in this book, the author is a scientist that does not believe in reincarnation, does not believe in karma. And through him studying these young individuals that seem to remember past lives, it totally changed his perspective on life and karma and reincarnation. And I think about that a lot because in that example, you have somebody who is a scholar, who is looking for blacks and whites and numbers and verification of science.
This guy.
And then you have something that completely derails your line of thinking and provides a whole new perspective to it. And I keep thinking about this book because it's profound to have somebody that is almost seeking to prove it as not true and then comes around to say, okay, there's something here.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility, right? And I think that's life, right? You come to these perspective shifts as you make your way through the life, and it's pretty eye-opening, and the more I think about karma, the more I think about how, and Ivan, you said this, every action has an equal and positive reaction. So everything that we're doing in this life is going to have some effect down the road.
next action.
Yeah. And what lesson are we trying to learn in this life to inform us of the next life?
Yeah. And my understanding from reading the Bhagavad Gita, which some folks don't say is really the meat of Hinduism, that to the extent that you have advanced yourself in karma and so on, that's how you'll be placed in a family that will support that idea. Now that's going a bit of a stretch, but it's like whatever you do, you're gonna get to be in a family.
Yeah.
They might have a better TV set or something, yeah.
And what if this is your first run?
Huh?
There's lots of people that, if we believe this is their first run at it. This is their beginning of their.
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can have a first run.
You just have what? You just.
Because if you have a first run, you have to have a last run.
Yeah.
Oh. Damn.
Yeah.
God,
It's,
and if they're all recycling,
Woo!
where are they coming from?
Yeah, that just kind of stuck. So you just continue.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, and, reading through your notes here, Ivan,
Wow.
there's a mention of revenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And revenge is an interesting concept. I go back to my Bible, Star Wars. right? And Luke
Revenge
Sky-
of the Sith.
Right, Luke Skywalker seeks
go.
revenge. Does Luke Skywalker seek revenge? I guess not. That's a hero's
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah,
But you know, any of these plots where people are seeking revenge, they always get vindicated in the end because I told you so and I overcame. But I don't think that's how life plays out because there's always a scene after you gain revenge, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Revenge is not karma, and it's
I've used that word as revenge at one time in my life, and knowing more about karma now, it was an incorrect usage of karma. Instead, you know, I should have just been pissed and maintained that and just been pissed. But I've misused
but
karma.
you can experiment with and learn about the word. It's,
Right.
Sometimes you have to learn about the word and say, well, is that right? No, that's not right. How about this? And that way you get it so it makes some sense to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, how about the people from Serpio?
From what?
The people from Serpio who come here and they
Serpio.
design humans
I'm a
and
Ravenclaw. I'm not
all that stuff.
Serpio. Oh, is that another planet?
Another planet.
Where's
yeah.
Well,
that?
Okay.
Where
let's
is
just
that?
talk about the recent photos
sure. Uh-oh.
from that
From the James Webb? No.
from the telescope, the thing. It's all over the news right now. Is it
Talking about Planet 9?
The web?
Planet X?
Was it the
telling
web?
you what, there's some shit out there.
Planet Nine.
Are you talking about the life that they're finding? Like the
Yes.
tiny life that they're finding on those planets?
Come on now.
I know,
Come
because
on.
it's evidence that life was there, or is there.
Or is there?
What did they find?
They found like I just read about this last week, or something like that.
They found a what?
It's like microscopic
Mm-hmm.
life that is
Oh.
found. They find it here too, and is proof that life exists.
Where?
I don't know. Somewhere out in
Somewhere.
space.
Somewhere in a picture that we read.
Mars.
It was somewhere, I don't know, I have to look into it.
You know what I'm talking about, though, the recent photos
Yeah,
of
no,
all
I
that.
saw, and
Yeah.
it was like an Earth-like planet. It was not Earth, but it was an Earth-like planet.
Well, that's good. That's what they've been looking for. That's a Cinderella. I think it's called.
And the likelihood of an Earth-like planet being out there, I think, is high, because I think we'd be stupid to believe that we're that the universe is endless. How stupid would we be to believe that we are the only people, only intelligent life forms? Just
Somebody
unpopular opinion.
calculated that at about 100 million.
And I think we have to
planets
back
like
up the
ours.
word intelligent.
I believe it. I believe it. And how likely is there how likely is it that there's intelligent life there?
The probability
I
is
saw-
high that there's some
It's
out
like-
there.
I love to hear
Oh
that.
my God,
That makes
that's
me
the
happy.
only thing about him I
yeah.
like.
And like and either that
What, the
intelligent life has
Hawaiian?
destroyed
No,
itself.
that he used that word because that's like
Or-
my favorite word. But
And then is that the track that we're on?
Pretty
do we use it
Is
like
that the track that we're on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dark thought too.
Well,
Okay, what are we talking about next week? Because we could go on and on and on, and
well,
my brain is on overdrive right now.
Have we massaged this
Probably not.
enough, or what do you want? What part of it do you want to?
We kind of just went into like astrology stuff. We could talk about some of these planets.
Let's talk about what planets have the potential for life right
what
now.
we found.
What we've recently found.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to need you to really come back with that.
Okay.
Okay? And then the pictures I'm talking about are the big huge telescope
Yeah, the one in Chile.
that they just found these
Yeah.
deep, incredible pictures of. And how can you possibly believe that we are it after looking at those
That's what I'm
pictures?
saying. NASA news, man. NASA news.
Well, actually,
So amazing.
They may have been bugs on this
They could have been, but Dad, let's go with it.
on the lens.
So we're going to talk about what planets could we live on? And should we?
Yeah,
Or do we already?
we live on the planet we can live on.
Okay, but there's the possibility if we were put into cryo sleep that we could make it to another planet in 50 million years, and maybe you'd be alive then.
No, you just reincarnate over there. You get a new spawn
just
point.
keep
Imagine
Yeah,
how
yeah. You get
saggy
a new
my
spawn
boobs
point.
will be by then.
No, the,
Oh my
the
There's,
cryosleep
You'll be
will
laying
be-
on your back. You're fine.
Well, that'll be fine. I'll just
just
come
be in your
walking out like
armpits.
this.
There's no gravity
How's
in
everybody
space.
doing?
There's no gravity in space.
The gravity, anti-gravity is being developed right now, and it may be that we already have some, but there's another theory that anti-gravity can take the place of rocket propulsion or whatever. But the thing about anti-gravity and magnetic stuff is it's so fast.
Yeah.
It's incredibly fast. You could be there. You get in and you'll be there. You know. that
Okay, so
sort
let's
of-
talk about that next week.
Okay.
Look at our hands.
They look the same, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh God, do they?
No.
Please stop.
Yeah.
He's 92.
No, not the same
Oh,
like that,
okay.
but like, different generations.
Yeah.
Of like,
Multiple generations. Okay, we will see you guys next time, and we're going to talk about planets and cool pictures and can we live somewhere else.
Yeah. Send us a note or
Questions,
pictures
pictures.
or ideas or,
The Ivan1933 at gmail.com.
yeah.
Ciao.